Al Horford, Derrick White come up big, and I think it's an impressive win over the Denver Nuggets and an injury update for Jrue Holiday. It's all coming up right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast here from TD Garden.
Yup. Beam down, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT Karalis, recap the madness every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Primetime dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. They got a Saturday game coming up this coming week, so I will be here at TD Garden, as usual, podcasting after that game. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the show on YouTube. Get to the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking there. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis. I have been covering the Celtics for about 20 years now. I've been doing it for the past few years at Boston Sports Journal. You can read my stuff there. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. New FanDuel users, you can go ahead and bet $5. If you win, you get $150 in bonus bets. So go check it out at FanDuel.com. Today's show, it's always a fun little adventure. Here we go. There's my graphic. 110-103. The Boston Celtics beat the Denver Nuggets. I think it's an impressive win. Later on, we'll talk about the bench. We'll talk about Jaylen and Jayson, Luke Cornett. Al and Derrick were huge. I'll get to them in a few minutes. I want to start with this is an impressive win. I think the past two games have been really good efforts, right? They didn't beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They didn't execute down the stretch. I don't think that was a particularly bad loss or anything like that. And I thought this was a good win. They did not have Kristaps Porzingis. Again, they did not have Jrue Holiday again. And in a minute, I'll give you the Jrue Holiday injury update. But the Celtics are missing two starters. And we do have to adjust our expectations on how they're going to perform over the course of 48 minutes when you're missing one of your two starting guards, an all-defensive backcourt player, and your unicorn in Kristaps Porzingis, who's still sick. We know what Kristaps does. Against a team like this, you're protecting the rim. The Celtics started Luke Cornett with Al Horford and went with Jaylen, Jayson, and Derrick White. So they went double big. They maintained double big throughout most of this game. They took away the rim from the Denver Nuggets. They did a great job. The game plan was very clearly to give up three-pointers to Christian Brown, to Russell Westbrook, and they did that, and it worked basically perfectly. Brown hit one big three-pointer from the corner late in the game, so that was timely, but he was, 2 of 8, and Russell, 2 of 8 from 3. Russell Westbrook was also 2 of 8 from 3. So they wanted to give up those shots, and it worked. Now, the Nuggets didn't shoot particularly great from 3 overall, but the Celtics' game plan was pack the paint, don't let Jokic kill you. And Jokic had overall numbers, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists is like, wow, that's generally a pretty good game, but that's not MVP Jokic numbers. So they did a great job limiting him. Even without Porzingis, it would have been great to have Holiday on Jamal Murray, who got going in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter and helped cut a 20-point lead down to as little as 3. Very similar flow to this game where the Celtics went up. It wasn't like the 25-3 opening, but the Celtics did open up a 20-point lead. They did give that up a little bit in the first half. They did push it back out in the beginning of the third quarter and lose almost all of it heading into the fourth. And the difference is that the Nuggets never really made a push, never could make a push to take the lead. They got it down to as little as 3, and the Celtics were able to hold them off. But my number one overarching 30,000-foot view is, without their starting center, without their starting guard, the Celtics forced to dig deep into their bench, and they gave, Torrey Craig got minutes, Nemish Queta got minutes, and Craig was okay. Queta was pretty good despite some foul trouble. They had to go deep into their bench, guys that probably won't play, or at least wouldn't play the minutes that they played in a playoff series. They went up against the number 1 seed in the East and kind of ran out of gas at the end. They went up against a former champion and a team that's competing to try to come out of the West and has a potential MVP, 3-time MVP, like million-time MVP, and Jokic. And they're out there holding their own and executing and not giving up the entirety of their lead. That matters to me. And I'm sorry, like, we have to adjust our expectations a little bit. Any NBA team missing its, 2 of their starters, which inherently means 2 of their 5 best players, is going to have pockets of games where they struggle. And still, the Celtics had very correctable things that they could have done. Number 1, turnovers. They gave up a ton of turnovers. And what did they have here? It was 14 turnovers for the Celtics. But Denver scored a ton off of those turnovers. And if the Celtics just protected the ball a little bit better, then they wouldn't have given up the lead. If the Celtics had made some shots, and this is, Jaylen, let me get to Jaylen here real quick with the knee. He was short he was 0 for 5 in the fourth quarter. He was short in all of those. He said his knee's bothering him. Walked into the locker room after the game. He's got a big wrap on his right knee, something that's been bothering him. I think the Celtics should probably rest him a little bit. 2 days off before the next game. So either way, correctable things that don't usually happen under normal circumstances. A couple of those shots fall, you protect the ball a little bit better, and that lead doesn't get as shrunk by, this horrible English, but doesn't get eaten into as much by the Denver Nuggets. So that's my number 1 overarching take. Now, no Jrue Holiday. Let's finish this segment by just giving you this update. He did speak a little bit before the game. He said, first of all, it's a mallet finger, which it's like a tear, which causes the finger to like drop somehow. It's kind of weird. I try to have the medical staff explain it to me, and it's basically like a tear or a break that just causes the finger to just drop, and you got to keep it in a splint to keep it straight. And Holiday said, I'm going to be in a splint for a minute because you got to keep it as straight for as long as you can. It's going to be treated like a broken finger, and it takes time to heal. It takes a few weeks to heal at the very least. So now the question is, while it's healing, can he play? So I'm not saying he's going to be out for a few weeks, but I don't know how long he's going to be out. No one knows how long he's going to be out right now. Some of it's a pain tolerance thing, and he hasn't even been able to catch a basketball while dealing with this. So there is a period here where he's going to be out. So it's not going to be like, oh, let's see if he plays against Portland. I would be surprised if he does. He might be out for an extended period of time, but there's still no prognosis. There's no official 1 week, 2 days, whatever it is. But he made it seem like it's going to take a little bit of time. It's a little bit up in the air because he has never dealt with something like this before. And it's going to be an ongoing kind of thing where he has to figure out the course of actions. So for now, that's the update, which is kind of like an update, non-update, but it's he spoke. He was talking to the medical staff. He had like a big wrap on the pinky, trying to figure out, like, is this the way to go? Is it too sticky on the ball? Would normal athletic tape do the trick? Like, they're still figuring out a lot of this. So as he figures this out, we'll see how it goes. So for now, he's going to be out. Expect him to be out for a little while. Come back. We'll talk about Al and Derrick, who came up big, Luke Cornett, and all of those guys will do that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and you can get $150 in bonus bets by winning your first bet. You can place live bets throughout the game. Even if you miss the opening tip, if you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. If you're looking for a bigger payout, combine your bets into a same game parlay. The live betting feature helps you keep every moment exciting if you want to get in there and see fourth quarter points, fourth quarter, score. There's a lot of opportunities here. The app is super easy to use. When you win, you get paid instantly. If you place that first $5 bet, if you're a new customer, you get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Make sure you're using the tools that are available to you there in the FanDuel Sportsbook so you can set your budget, set your limits, make sure that you are good to go with whatever you can afford to lose. You never know when you have a cold streak. You think you got it, and maybe you do, but the game has a different idea. Make sure you're protecting yourself by doing that. And so go to FanDuel.com, get your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Subscribe to our new Locked On Daily newsletter. It's at LockedOnDaily.com. It's Monday through Friday. You get an email from me if you go to LockedOnDaily.com. Click on that Locked On Celtics logo. Enter your email. Celtics NBA fantasy coverage. Open it up, read that email, especially if you miss the podcast. It's a great way to keep up with everything there. If you miss a show, you get a little bit of a synopsis there. All right. The other big story in this game to me was Al Horford and Derrick White. Al came up huge with a 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steal game, including this was the best play of the night. Late in the game, about 45 seconds or so to go. Celtics have gone up 5, okay? Derrick White, who was also huge in this game in the fourth quarter, rebounds a Jaylen Brown miss. Long rebound. This is such a clutch sequence, right? Jaylen misses the shot. And I'm here, if you're watching on YouTube, this is like down the other end. I'm on the floor at the TD Garden. This is not a green screen. This is actually the floor at the TD Garden. Jaylen misses. The rebound goes long. It's tipped out. If the Nuggets get it, it's a break and very likely a score. Derrick White comes up huge, tracks it down, hits this floater. Celtics go up 5 with less than a minute to go. Nuggets come down. They get the switch onto Al Horford. Horford stays right in front of Jamal Murray. Murray tries to go right. Horford takes the bump. Murray spins and goes to his left. Horford rides him all the way down to the left block. Murray jump passes to try to get the ball to Nikola Jokic. Horford reads it. He's right there. Jumps, deflects it with his left hand. Little tip for the ball. It gets over to Derrick White, over to Jaylen Brown. Fast break. Now the momentum had carried Al Horford out of bounds. He had both feet out of bounds at the end line. Celtics go full length of the court. Jaylen has it. Open lane on the right side. Christian Brown is lining him up. This is going to be a play at the rim. It looks like it's going to be a potential poster play. It looks like it's going to be a potential, high impact play. Jaylen kind of gives a little hezzy. Drops off the pass. Who's running the floor? Who's sprinting the floor? It's Al Horford. 39-year-old Al Horford making this play, running the floor, laying it in. Jaylen Brown delivers the line of the night after the game where he says he's supposed to dunk that, but he's got 5 kids, so we're going to let him slide. Hilarious line. Absolutely hilarious line. But true. And what's funny is Al Horford's out here with his son Ian. Ian just turned 10. By the way, Ian is like a future power forward himself. That kid is big. He's out here. I've seen him banging corner threes from right here, the spot that I'm sitting. He's like a future legit player. But anyway, I bring Ian up because he's 10. Al Horford's rookie year, Jaylen Brown was 11. So let that sink in for a second. The kid, when you see Al Horford walking in with his son Ian, that kid is basically the same age. Like Jaylen was the same age when Al was walking into arenas as a rookie. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Al made all the right plays again, hitting shots, finishing around the rim, big shots to keep the Celtics, in a healthy enough distance away from the Nuggets, playing great defense, playing positional defense, communicating on pick and roll. Al Horford is just he turns 39 in June, 3 months exactly from Monday. And I bring this up, I bring all this stuff up, not to I don't like it when people talk about my age as an old man, but because it's impressive, because it is super impressive that he's not LeBron. LeBron is a complete freak of nature. He's LeBron. I'm not even going to get into it. LeBron is LeBron. Different story. Al at 39, almost 39, doing what he did, playing 35 minutes, playing as great as he did, having this impact on this game, defending Jokic, continuing to go out there and defend Jokic, defend Embiid, defend Giannis, to switch onto Murray and make that play to make that game-sealing steal, full court sprint, having played 35 minutes, finish that play. That is incredibly impressive. And what he is able to do, allowing the Celtics to be versatile, to switch if they need to switch. Like you can switch Horford onto Jamal Murray in the final minute of a close game on national TV, a game that you are really trying to win. This isn't some throwaway game. You can switch Al Horford. He doesn't need the help. Now he joked, I did need the help against Jokic. Fine. But Horford just continues to defy his age. Now there are modifications. He does pace himself. Like he didn't pace himself always. He paces himself now. There are 2 days off before the next game. I think the Celtics should sit him against the Blazers and play him against the Sixers. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid is out for the rest of the season, but I still think they should play him at home here against the Sixers on the back-to-back. Porzingis can come back, hopefully, for that Blazers game, and then sit on the back-to-back and get ready for that would be the Lakers game on Saturday. So, but that's what it takes to keep Al at this level, fine. But you know that he can dip into this level of play and give you 35 minutes if he needs to. He's got it. Still. And then Derrick White is Al Horford was asked after the game, hey, how clutch is Derrick White? And Al just did one of these, oh, God, he's so clutch. He had this visceral reaction to the question because D. White is out here doing the same things over and over again. Jayson Tatum turns the ball over again. And the Nuggets go the other way, beginning in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter. There's Derrick White to steal it right back, right? The play I just mentioned, the long rebound, attacking Jokic, drawing a double team when everything was going ISO, and the Celtics were mismatch hunting. Derrick White gets the ball, runs a pick and roll with Luke Cornett. They go to Derrick, and he gets the lob to Luke. They had gotten away from that play earlier in the game. Earlier in the game, those plays were there. Derrick goes back to it, and they run good offense, and they get a clutch bucket, a much-needed bucket on that alley-oop. Derrick just sees the game perfectly, reads the game, makes the right play, hits the huge shots. It doesn't matter. 20 seconds on the shot clock, 2 seconds on the shot clock. He is just clutch. He does everything. And his stat line in this game was 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Was it 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals? Yeah. 8 points, in the fourth quarter, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. So basically half of his production in this game came in the fourth quarter. Huge night, clutch night, another clutch night for Derrick White. This is why it's so impressive, and this is why the Celtics are so dangerous. And even when they have their lulls and their moments and their losses against certain teams, you say if they can get whole and if they can stay healthy and they have everybody, they are impossible to beat because Derrick does this stuff. Al can do this stuff, right? On top of what Porzingis and Holiday bring, and obviously what Jaylen and Jayson bring. Jaylen and Jayson, who I'll get to in the next segment here, struggled at the end. And having the full squad and having these guys support them kind of takes some of that pressure away. And it wasn't pressure. It's just that they're being asked to do a lot. Let's get into that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by DoorDash. Hey, if you missed Steph Curry's 50-point game, you missed an opportunity to get a huge deal on that next day. I tweeted it out. It's for real. If a player scores 50 or more in a game during this regular season, like Steph Curry did the other day, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. So when Steph scored that 50, if you had Dash Pass, that next day you could have put another game day feast together to watch the next day's game. Get pizza or burgers from your favorite spot to drop directly to your door. Maybe you had a late night craving. You could have ordered using Dash Pass to get something while saving big. Lunch the next day, $0 delivery fees, reduced service fees, and that exclusive NBA offer. Or the next watch party, you can order snacks and meals at a discount. Get ready for more high-scoring action. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When a player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off using the promo code NBA50. That's 50% off the next day, up to $10 off with the code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game. On eligible orders at participating merchants must have active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out the Locked On NBA podcast. 2 podcasts on that feed. Locked On NBA Game Night, which I host on Fridays with Jake Madison, covering every night in the league. And then Locked On NBA in the afternoons, Monday through Friday, covering the big stories in the league. 2 podcasts, 1 feed, double the bang for your buck, which is free. You don't pay anything. So go check it out there. Let me just get back to Luke Kornet for a second here because Luke, I thought, was huge in the first half. The Celtics got a 20-point lead, an early 20-point lead, and he was in the middle of a lot of it. He had 4 assists in the first half, lots of pick, roll, short roll, passing out of the short roll. He was a big part of that Celtics offense flowing, and I just got to give Luke credit because he continues to do that. If teams don't account for him, he can pick you apart by just making the right play. He's not doing anything special. He's not making, insane athletic plays. He's just making the right play, the right read. This is everything when we call being a star in your role. Luke Kornet catching those passes in the short roll. Or there was a great play that was highlighted. I retweeted it. He gets the pass off a drive from Payton Pritchard. Pritchard drives right, draws crowd, kicks it over to Luke Kornet, who's on the high side, right by the high left break by the 3-point line. He's not going to do anything there, but he flows into a handoff and then gets the ball back off the dribble handoff because 2 players go to the ball handler, pocket pass down to Luke. Luke dumps it right. He takes 1 dribble, draws a defender, makes the next right play. Boom. Bounce pass to Al Horford, and there's a bucket. That's as simple as it gets for the Celtics. You move the ball. Luke gets the ball in a spot wherever he is on the floor. He has a great tendency to make the right read, the right play. So I love the season that Luke has had, and I feel like that was important to highlight. Here we are. It's 24 minutes into the podcast. I'm just getting to really the meat of Jaylen Brown. 22 points, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Generally a really good night, 6 of 15 shooting. Not great because he was 0 for 5 So he was 6 of 10 heading into the fourth quarter, 0 for 5. The right knee has been a problem, like I said before. But if he had just hit a couple of those shots, the fourth quarter would have been a much different story. The lead wouldn't have shrunk into down to single digits, down to 3. Probably would have hung around 10. So he got good shots, he got good looks. He just left them all short. So I'm not too worried about that. The knee soreness is a bit of an issue. I want to make sure that gets taken care of. If he needs to miss a little bit of time, now's the time to do it. So make sure that if that needs to be taken care of, take care of it now. Jayson Tatum did not have a good game, which is kind of wild to say when you look at the raw numbers: 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, another near triple-double, if you want to say that. But he shot terribly. 4 of 15, 1 of 7 from 3. He did get to the line 8 times. It was 7. Well, he got to the line 7 times. The one free throw that he missed was a technical foul free throw, which, side note, let Derrick White shoot those. You don't have to shoot those. You don't worry about it. Let Derrick shoot those. He's a better free throw shooter. So Jayson missed a lot of shots. He did not shoot well. Obviously rebounded well. Obviously he found guys, for 7 assists. But Jaylen, by the way, led the team with 8 assists, right? So 22, like I said, 22 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, which is great. For the Jays to come up with 15 of the 26 assists, that's a monster game from those guys. So even when Tatum wasn't shooting well, he did other things. But he also turned the ball over 6 times. And like in the fourth quarter, it was particularly bad. Let me see his fourth quarter numbers here real quick, because for a little while it felt like, geez, Jayson is doing a lot to lose this game. 6 minutes in the fourth, 0 for 1, 2 turnovers, live ball turnovers. So it was not Jayson's best night. So it happens. Coming off of a 46-point night, another near triple-double, the best first half we've ever seen in the NBA in the modern era. It's okay if he has an off night. The bench stepped up to take a lot of that pressure off of him. Joe Mazzulla said after the game that Payton Pritchard, after the last game, the loss to Cleveland, took ownership of that poor bench production, and he stepped up in this one with 11 points, 3 of 5 shooting from 3, 4 of 7 overall, 3 assists. The bench outscored the Denver Nuggets by a fair amount. What was this? 19, 27, 28 to 7, 10, 11. So good bench production overall. Part of starting Luke Cornett was to also leave Sam Hauser on the bench and get some shooting off of the bench. Joe likes to start Sam Hauser in a lot of these situations, but because the Celtics went double big, like heavy double big, I feel like, and I asked Joe about this after the game, and he said, there's no single answer. Starting one guy, every one of these decisions has multiple reasons, and maybe part of it was that Sam wasn't playing up to par defensively, although he's been, generally a pretty good defender, but he had a bad defensive game in the last one. He's getting targeted by Donovan Mitchell. Everybody has a bad defensive game, targeted by Donovan Mitchell. Regardless, the decision I thought was a good one, because not only did it allow the Celtics to stay double big, but it did get Sam off the bench, and he was a decent contributor there, going 2 of 3 from 3, 3 of 4 overall, 3 rebounds, and assist, a block in there, and I thought he moved the ball well. Neemias Queta had a really nice game despite early foul trouble. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds, and the one of the highlights of the night, the steal that got tipped ahead to him, and he was in the open court. And it's almost like a lineman returning a fumble. It was fun to see him in the open court, but good bench production, and that's what you need. So you're down a couple of guys, and Jayson has 55 to 60% of the game that he normally has, and you still manage to beat the Denver Nuggets by 7. You covered the spread, which I'm not saying this in a gambling term. I'm just saying, like, the anticipation was that the game was going to be like a 4-point game, and you beat them by 7. It's a good win like I said before, it's an impressive win. Guys stepped up when you needed them to step up. And, yeah, look, pile them up however you can. At this point, when you're down and you're getting a subpar performance from one of your stars, you just find a way to win, and the Celtics did. And that's the beauty of these Celtics. At any time, any guys, 1, 2, 3 guys can step up in the moment. Today it was Derrick White and Al Horford. So good win, good game. Wednesday will be against the Trailblazers. Like I said, very interested to see who plays, who doesn't. I would expect maybe they go without Jaylen and maybe without Al, and hopefully Porzingis is back. But if I had to bet on it, I'd say probably Jaylen, Al, and Holiday would be out, but we'll see. We've got a couple of days before that, a practice on Tuesday. So obviously I'll be here podcasting all week, letting you know what's going on, sharing my opinion. I'll be at that practice on Tuesday, talking to everybody. So I'll give you an update Tuesday night heading into Wednesday. Podcast 5 days a week. They're all free. They're all available everywhere. So make sure you're subscribed. Bonus podcasts on the weekend. So Saturday, Lakers game, I will be here. I will podcast after that game. I'll be up late for you. So if you're up late on the East Coast, maybe you're in the West Coast, maybe you're international, and it drops at a normal time for you, I'll have a bonus podcast for you. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're watching on YouTube. You can see me here at TD Garden. This is like the big, no green screen. I can, if I stand up, I'll be out of the picture, but it's here. I can knock on the floor. Get onto that YouTube page, get into the comment section, share your thoughts, share your opinions, and then share the podcast. Please tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.